Coming to you live from the Show Me State, the birthplace of James Mercer Langston Hughes. It's the Colbert Connection. Your hosts, Melody and Donika, are connecting you to the world through Facebook Live with today's hot topics and creative conversations. I'm your announcer, Dr. Colbert, working hard for a free meal and a bottle of crushed grapes. And now, here's your host of the Colbert Connection, Melody Colbert King and Donika Colbert.
Hey, hey, hey! Today is not Tuesday.
Nope.
Today is Thursday.
Thursday.
But welcome to the Colbert Connection.
Yay.
I'm Melody Colbert King.
I'm Donika Colbert. Who are you?
And I'm Don Colbert. Thanks for inviting me along.
That is the voice behind all of our intros and promos.
Yes.
The voice behind.
Thank you.
Don Kelly.
Yes.
Some of y'all may remember him from radio days, that smooth croon voice that came on at nighttime. You'd be like, is this the, what is that called? What was that called?
The Quiet Storm.
Yes, the Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
Is this the Quiet Storm? Well, we have him in person.
Live in living color.
Live and in living color.
Yes,
The CMG, Cobra Money Gang, we're here. The original CMG.
Thanks for the invite.
Yes.
It's a rough crowd today.
It's rough, and I'm going to be taking my glasses off and on, y'all, because my other one's broke.
Because she can't see.
I can't see. Y'all out there? Y'all give me some thumbs up or something. Let me know y'all are out there. Anyway, what cold?
Yeah, it's cold out there.
Man.
Yeah. Negatives.
But, okay, because I got one thing. There's no such thing as -0.
Yeah, there is. Huh?
No. No.
-0 was the temperature the other day.
There's no
When it's
such
zero
thing.
is zero.
It's zero. Absolute zero. That's it.
And we woke up to a -15. Now
There's a
-15.
negative. There's a negative number. There's just not a -0.
Not a -0.
People they need to understand that. And then Empire.
They rolling.
Man.
Rolling.
I hope any of our viewers didn't have to get blacked out for an hour.
Wow. People did, though. People did. I had people at work that were, hey, my power's out. I'm like, all right, y'all.
I can't understand it. I'm thankful that mine didn't get done, but
I could not even. Let me tell you what happened. I was out getting my workout in, and I saw the lights flicker, and I was like, oh, Jesus.
help us.
Ooh, don't do that to us, Jesus.
It's cold.
Hey, that's all I could think of. All that snow, and it was -15 outside, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs. I don't know what I was going to do upstairs. It was different than downstairs. Just to
Heat
make
rises.
sure the light was still on. Look. I did.
And
I was,
still on.
yeah, but I was the only one up, so nobody else even noticed. But I was like, okay.
That's because you get up at the crack
I
of
know.
dawn.
I know, but I was like,
I'm
all
like,
right.
Why?
The lights is on upstairs. We good.
Man, all I know is it was cold, and I was thankful that the Empire didn't get us. They got some of y'all, and we sorry, but they didn't get us, and I was thankful.
And we can blame it on the groundhog.
Hey,
the groundhog saw his shadow.
But Daddy, I got a question.
Okay.
Do you think maybe they could have told the people, like, hey, from 7th to 20th Street,
Give some warning.
y'all going down between 10 and 12?
Yes.
Like, could you, maybe?
No.
A little intro.
That's too much like right.
No.
There you go. We can't do that. A little preparation, because what if you had a baby in the house, an elderly person on oxygen
with
anything
electrical
like
devices that are life-sustaining.
Absolutely.
Makes
And
a
then
difference.
they can't, because now they don't have no electricity.
Yeah.
And their bill's been paid. Some of us may not have had a bill paid, but I'm just saying, the people's bill's been
The
paid.
lights went out.
Whether
your bill was paid or not paid, they
It
went
don't
out all
matter.
the same.
But
And
it could be worse.
This is
it
true.
always,
You could
always.
be in Texas.
And
Dang.
without no power.
Without
For
no
days.
And cold, and snow, and ice.
All of the above.
It could always be worse, people.
Yes.
It could always be worse. So we're thankful.
That's for sure.
We're grateful.
Yes.
We're always grateful.
Look.
Yeah. I just want to know. I want to know.
Uh-oh.
I gotta take these off again, y'all. The gas company did the same thing. I just want to say, for us small businesses out there who got a letter, an email that said, we're not supplying gas to you because we need to conserve it for the people. But I was okay because they cut the businesses first instead of people's house. do you think about that?
I would think that they would notify you in some way. By technology, the way it is nowadays, it should be a way for people to be notified that your services are getting ready to be cut.
And it wasn't for not a bill paying. It was just because they said, that's why I posted the email, because they said, we're cutting you off.
So how much notice did you get?
That day.
Oh, so it was like
it was off.
Hope you wasn't mid cooking.
It's a good thing it wasn't on the Friday.
Shut her down.
It shut her down right then and there, done. And now we have a busted water pipe. So if y'all watching, Me's will not be open tomorrow.
That's not good.
It's not. I'm like, but you said it could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. Building could have burnt down. So hey, it could always be worse.
Without any water.
I can't clean nothing without no water.
Look, I just want to know, like, all that snow and stuff, and people out and about just cruising. I'm trying to understand. All I know is I hear the door go up and down, and I'm like, where is Daddy going? Like, Daddy is cruising, y'all.
Got places to be.
He is going to Walmart.
Once I can make it out off a roller coaster road, I've got it made. Because usually Maiden Lane is well graded. And because of the hospitals and everything in that area, and they take good care of that road.
That's true.
And so there's enough money that makes that happen. So we'll just go ahead, and once we can make it to Maiden Lane, we're in good shape.
He just debo's anybody on the street. Like, I'm not moving.
Who's got better insurance? There you go.
That's who out here with his hands up going down the street.
That's who gets the majority of the road. Who's got the better insurance?
Enjoy.
That's how it goes. I'm just saying. Sure. But yes, that's all I got. What else you got?
I mean, I'm just trying to understand. Okay,
well, we're going to make sure we're not going to take a lot of time up because we want y'all to tune in for our guest that we have today. Yeah. I am going to do a muse, but our guest, everybody knows, is Kristenee Wofford Smith. I say Wofford because we're going to always know her as Kristenee Wofford. But she's going to be joining us. Yes. And she's going to give us some insight on some happenings that happened on January the 6th. Yes. That may not be a moment in some people's minds, but
she was there live.
She was there live.
And so we're excited to hear about it. And yes. I'm excited. And even if you don't agree, we want you to be respectful.
Well, and that's the thing. People don't understand. You can disagree, but you don't have to be disrespectful.
Absolutely.
There's no reason for it, in my opinion, anyway.
So we want to talk. We want to ask some questions. We just want to have a good conversation.
In my life, my opinion is the only one that matters.
Well, I know you got a little paper. You got a couple topics. Right?
Well, I know that 45 is gone.
No, gone. Okay, we're gonna hold that thought. Cause yes, we're gonna. Yes, it's coming. It's coming.
Well,
he want to talk.
46 is in the building.
Yes.
And now we're ready to change over our currency to Sister Moses.
Sister Moses.
Now,
Sister Tub. Yes.
Miss Tubman needs to be put on the $20 bill. And that's supposed to be up and coming in the near future.
It's supposed to be up and coming.
Now, will 46 follow through, or will he get the cold feet and back down?
You never know. But I'm not gonna be. I don't care about no $20 bill. I want my 40 acres and a mule.
But yes, I want that
too.
Don't
wait on that.
Just say, don't appease me with no $20 bill.
40. But will those be on the new $1,400 stimulus checks that he'll be sending? You think?
Don't wait on the $1,400.
In other words, continue working.
Yes.
Get your job if you can. Your unemployment, whatever it is that you got an income coming through, continue it.
Please.
Continue it.
Yes, but he'll follow through with the $1,400 because he promised that, and that's a part of his package. It's just when they can get all the senators.
Yeah, well,
off a dead center.
Presidents can say whatever they want, but until that Congress votes on it, that's just the legislative branch that's it.
Yeah, and whatever. Make sure you fill out your taxes. That has a lot to do when you receive your $1,400.
Yes.
If you fill out the taxes so they have an address, a bank account for you, so they'll know where to deposit your money.
Yes.
In my pocket. That's where I want mine. Cash. I want your pocket. Paper. Give me cash. Melody's Muses. Okay. So, and this is just have we ever thought about why that is? But for the kids at school, you know they have dress codes, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times they'll say, okay, you can wear jeans and you can wear the ripped jeans, but they can't be too ripped. They can't have a whole bunch of rips in them, right? Huh. But because you're showing too much leg. But then summer comes and you can wear shorts. Exactly.
Things that make you go,
huh? Why is that, people? I know. It's mind-boggling. It just silences you because it's so just, why is that? You can't wear too many rips in your jeans because you're showing too much leg, but you can wear shorts to school. Isn't that showing too much leg?
Yeah, same leg.
Okay. I'm just my muses. These are my muses, and if y'all can help me find an answer, I would love that. But until then, ponder on that one. And then we have everybody eventually is going to die. Everybody's going to die. We all got an expiration date. Okay, we all know that. So how can people talk about what death feels like? Because, you get people who's like, yeah, and it's just this glorious, this. How, you don't know, ain't nobody coming back. But one is what they say, but one came back. So how we going to know? Who knows? It's silence, y'all, because these are questions we need answers to. We need answers to questions like this. And which side of the foil do you really use? The shiny or the matte?
However, on the parchment paper.
We're not talking parchment paper.
It is written.
That one clearly, one clearly lets you know. Because one side is like wax and one's not.
And it says words that.
But foil. Which side is correct?
The shiny or the other side.
That's right. Some people do one way, some people do the other. That's my muses. When we come back.
That needs to be a male minute.
See? I'm going to do that.
That needs to be a male minute.
Male's Minute tomorrow. We're going to talk about some foil, y'all. We're going to talk about foil. It's Friday.
Foil Friday.
Foil Friday. Y'all tune in. We'll be back.
Too many Colberts today.
It's
y'all.
too many.
Too many.
We'll be back with Kristenee Wofford Smith.
I'm Monica Pearson with This Week in Black History. Today marks 102 years since the death of the king of ragtime, Scott Joplin. The pianist was born on November 24, 1868 in Texas, the son of a former slave, and he began learning piano at the age of 7. In 1894, Joplin began to establish himself as a band leader in Missouri, playing dance halls and black nightclubs. As ragtime music became more popular, Scott Joplin decided to publish his own compositions, such as Original Rags and the Maple Leaf Rag. Despite the popularity of his music, Joplin failed to profit from his publications, sometimes only earning 1% royalties from the sale of his music. 50 years after Joplin's death in 1917, a new generation of musicians rediscovered his compositions, including his final opera, Tremonisha. I'm Monica Pearson with This Week in Black History. Today marks 102 years since the death of the king of ragtime, Scott Joplin. The pianist was born on November 24, 1868 in Texas, the son of a former slave, and he began learning piano at the age of 7. In 1894, Joplin began to establish himself as a band leader in Missouri, playing dance halls and black nightclubs. As
We're back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
All right.
Coast to coast, we are here.
Coast to coast.
Yes.
Mozoo to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Miss Oklahoma.
I'm an Okie now. I'm an Okie.
No, girl, you gonna always be Missouri. It's always Missouri.
Don't say it and look like that.
I know. I kind of like Oklahoma now. I kind of like it now that I'm finally used to it.
Okay.
When I first got there, it was like,
yeah, some getting used to. They do it different.
It is different. People spoke differently. I mean, and I went to college with girls that were from Oklahoma, and I didn't understand it until I moved to Oklahoma. I'm like, oh, everybody's like this. Everybody speaks like this. the words are just a little bit different, but we're all the same in the end. But in the beginning, I was just like, oh, this is different. I don't know. But I like
now
it
you're an Okie.
That's right. I'm an Okie. Boomer Sooner.
Yeah.
Go Pokes.
So some things will never change. So look,
Exactly.
we ran track together, we played ball together, so yeah, this is like good times.
Joplin's fine and split.
Good times.
Anyway,
Good times.
look. Anyways.
Kristenee's been around the world though and doing lots of big things and got a couple businesses.
Yes.
Like, first of all, give us all of that, and then we
Yeah.
can talk
okay.
about the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, in 2013, I started the boot camp, which is like the physical fitness class, all right? And then it just erupted online. So we opened a gym a year later in downtown Commerce, and then we evolved into a supplement line, and now we're going to open an events venue that you can rent out for anything that you need. So quinceañeras, quinces, wedding receptions, all that good stuff. So right there in downtown Commerce, Oklahoma. Population 2,500. We're doing big things.
Because I'm
big
like,
things.
is there a downtown in Commerce?
Yeah, I mean, there's like
A strip.
there's a road. I was just some buildings.
Inquirer minds want to know.
That we're trying to fill up. We are trying to fill those
right.
buildings up. So I call it fertile ground. So you come here to, Joplin where things are already established, and it's harder to open up something that's different because I don't want to say that we've seen it all because there's a lot more out there. But where I'm at, there's literally nothing. So you could open up. I have so many ideas. I'm not even going to tell you guys. I have so many ideas that people could do just because we're just right there. Anybody's going to drive through there. It's on Route 66. So we already have travelers all the time.
Ready-made traffic. I like that.
That's right.
I like being on
Ready-made.
Route 66 too.
So what's your biggest challenge as being a entrepreneur in Commerce, Oklahoma?
Honestly, my husband and I are business partners. We haven't had a lot of challenges because, like I said, it's fertile ground. So the city is so welcoming.
Wow.
There, anything that you need. If you need to be able to get into this building before you've actually bought it and we own it as a city, we're going to let you go ahead and remodel that building. That's the type of environment that we're in, where they're willing to accommodate us to be the best business owners that we can be, because we want that tourism. We want people to come to Oklahoma. And I don't want to say that I haven't seen it anywhere else because I'm an adult now, but I feel like we have a very special community that is open to a lot of possibilities, because if you go just right down the street to a different city, it's all these regulations to start a business or to even have a rummage sale. You have to pay to have your licensing, your whatever. Commerce, it's like, please come here, do something, and we are those people. We're going to do it. So, just in general, I would say that everybody's been amazing. We don't have any more difficulties than anyone else that's opening a business.
I like that. I like that. Commerce is commerce friendly.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's a hometown of Mickey Mantle, Doug Furness, the Powerhouse Princess.
Powerhouse
Princess. So we just have, it's a hidden gem. That's what I call it.
I like that. I like that. Speaking of the Powerhouse Princess,
Yes.
man, so you got your daughter into. Obviously, people, y'all can see that she is a fitness,
There we go.
a bodybuilder.
We playing this.
In case you didn't notice that, we want her to flex on you. Here, we'll have her flex for you. Yeah, just in case you didn't see that. Just in case you didn't notice that. Yes. So, you got your daughter in, and so how does that go for her as far as being in school, and how does she handle all that?
Okay, so Demaya is 14. She started powerlifting at the age of 8, and keep in mind that Jason and I, my husband and I, had never did powerlifting. She is totally a YouTube baby. So her dad was like, I'm going to figure this out, and we're going to do it. And she was just amazing at it, because Demaya's always just been oddly strong, is the best way to describe her in comparison to like other little toddlers. I'm like, dang, she's like climbing a tree, climbing all this stuff, and the other babies are like, help me. Okay, so Demaya was a total opposite. So she had tried like tumbling, gymnastics, basketball. She was good at basketball, just different sports, but she just wasn't developing. So powerlifting basically found us, and she just murdered at it. So fast forward, age 8 to now, she's filming her second TV show, and she typically does go to school full time, but now she is homeschooled in Canada.
Very cool. Side note, we have a message. You forgot about Adrenaline Auto Sales. The owner, Jason Smith, is very irate about it.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, not only do we have the House of Steel Gym and Hidden Gym, but we also have Adrenaline Auto Sales. I pushed my husband into being in his own business because he's such a car nut. And so I'm like, do something with cars. I feel like that's everybody's downfall is you're good at something and you won't even pursue it. You won't pursue it.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like,
it really is.
Good you are at that, and you won't even go 80%.
Take it.
But my man did. He did.
He listened to her. He listened. He listened. I left him for it.
I love that.
So you used to be a police officer here in Joplin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Short amount of time.
A short amount of time.
But I will tell you guys, so I graduated from Missouri Southern in 2007. It took me 7 years to get a 4-year degree. Okay, literally could not figure out what I wanted to do in life. I'm like, ooh, that looks interesting. Switch my major. Oh, that looks, here we are 7 years later. Okay. But graduated in December and immediately went into the police academy because someone had influenced me to pursue the FBI is what it boiled down to. And so I was like, I will start with the Joplin Police Department. And I will tell you that I learned more as my time as a police officer and as a student of policing than I ever did in my 7 years getting a 4-year degree. I mean, it was just information that you would never get in a school setting. And so I'm so grateful for that. I mean, I was more proud of myself graduating from that one semester at Missouri Southern as a police officer than I was for my time there to get my 4-year degree.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was maced, and I was tased, and I wasn't a criminal doing it.
Yeah. We won't dwell into that one.
It was rough.
We won't. Yeah.
It was rough. I was a class leader, though.
Oh.
Out of the whole academy. I'm proud of that because there was 29 of us, 2 females. A couple guys dropped as the time went by, but for whatever reason, these men and the one female felt the need to vote me in as a class leader. So that means that I did everything first. I'm like, I got to get OC'd in the face. I'll do it first.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was that whole experience was awesome.
Nice.
The job was not for me, though.
Everything ain't for everybody.
But sometimes you're going to be able to call it, though. Be like, hey, I tried, and this is not it.
Everything is
there
not
was
for
just
everybody.
way too much from second to second. One minute you're getting a cat out of the tree, the next minute you're on I-44 getting ready to shoot somebody. I'm like, this is way too much stress. Okay, people?
Need some consistency
to a schedule.
Yeah.
Domestics on one day, cat in the trees on the other.
Please keep your criminal activity on these days so we can be prepared for it. I get it.
Virgo in me.
Oh, yeah. You are a Virgo.
I am very much a Virgo.
Yes.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit. Let's fast forward to the excitement of the last, 6 months, shall we?
Oof.
You've been powerful. You've been very boisterous about your beliefs and your feelings. Talk to us about how that started.
So what started with me is you guys started this conversation about my businesses. And so the very first thing that happened, well, let me back up just a little bit. Let's take 2020 out of the equation. The best thing that probably ever happened for me personally was the fact that we dropped our Cable One plan to a very limited plan to where it was on a business plan and we only had so many channels. Keep in mind, I'm at my gym from 3 o'clock in the morning until about 6 o'clock at night. So I see every show that plays. So I'm seeing every show on ABC.
Okay.
So let's back up to whenever Trump first got voted into office. I voted for Trump because he's a business person. I look at him and I'm like, he's inspirational. He was the man of The Apprentice. He did all these things. I want to be like him, and I didn't really pay any attention to Hillary, but I voted for him for that reason. So, but then I noticed, as my TVs are on ABC every day, that they will not shut up about this man. They talk about him every day. Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was just nonstop. When you see this for 4 years, you're like, something's not right. That was the way it was in my spirit. Something's not right. Then COVID hits, and I'm like, something's not right. Just from the fact of the way that the commercials were just changing. Like, stay home, wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart. I'm like, no, this is not real. There's no way that this is the way that our life is supposed to be for the rest of our time here.
Right.
So then let's fast forward to May 2020. My husband and I are in Nashville, Tennessee for a weekend. We actually went for a funeral, but BLM happened to be there. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, it was like, you guys be careful because BLM is supposed to be here. Like, you can't really be out at night. Blah, blah, blah. Well, we go to the pool. They're only allowing 20 people at a time in the pool for an hour. And it's like a whole social distancing thing. We go outside and we can hear BLM coming. There's thousands of people out of nowhere. I'm literally out of nowhere. And in the beginning of it, I'm touched. I'm like, BLM, George Floyd had died a week before. So let's keep the time in mind. So this point in time, I'm pro just whatever. Whatever is right is what my mind is. And then I start to notice, as like I'm tearing up watching this, I'm like, this is history. I'm like, this is a little too programmed for me. You would have yell leaders for so many people. So one of the chants was silence is violence. Silence is violence. Silence is violence. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Someone's leading this. With all these poster boards that are perfect. These are just observations that I make in my head. I'm like, they got the most perfect poster boards. Because I know that if I go to Walmart right now and I get my poster board and I get my markers, my poster board's not going to look that great. And I know this sounds silly, but these were professionally made poster boards within a week of George Floyd dying. So my tears are starting to dry up, and I'm like, something's not right, something's not right. This doesn't feel right with me. And I actually went back through my Facebook, and I deleted anything that was like, say their name, like anything that was BLM, because in my heart, I felt like something wasn't right. So also keep in mind, my business shut down for a month. So that was a whole month that I didn't get to work. Then all you thousands of people can go out and march in the street, but I can't go to work. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with you telling me that I'm sick when I'm not sick, but these people can march in the street, and I know they're not sick. Ooh, they got a mask on, but there's literally thousands of people. So this is my mind developing onto this. Mm-hmm. And then just more and more weird things happened throughout the year. And whenever I start to think to myself, okay, maybe I am a little bit crazy. Maybe I am being a little bit extreme. All I got to do is go back to COVID. Because I know that stuff's not real. I know it's not real. The disease itself is real, but the way that it's played out is not real.
I cannot probably work with you on that one. Because I've been saying that since we've been broadcasting. You know, because it's like, yes, the sickness, there is a strain or something out there. That's not saying, and people who have died from it, right, you know, and that kind of thing.
You're empathetic.
But nobody is dying from nothing else. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else ever, nothing.
No.
The flu didn't happen.
The flu didn't happen. I mean, you know, and it's like.
Well, another, and everyone has to do their own research.
True
so
that.
For anyone that's listening to me, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not telling you that I know everything, but I do know the time that I spent online in my own worry trying to figure this out. Because if you were not trying to figure out what the heck was going on, then I don't have a name for you. I'm not going to call you anything other than you're just chilling. But if you were not physically and mentally, emotionally affected by this, where you're like, I got to figure out something, this is not right, then you were living on a totally different universe. But I did also see some reports where if you, let's say you tested positive for COVID for whatever reason in the beginning of February, but you died in a car wreck at the end of February, as long as you died within 30 days of getting tested positive, they're listing you as COVID. So to me, that is fraudulent. And how am I supposed to trust the people that are our leaders when this is going on? So that's where it started. It didn't start with, because I already voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. I already knew I was voting for Trump again. I didn't have to be loud and boisterous. It was all of this chaos that they put us through in 2020, and being a business owner, being present for BLM, and then of course being at the Trump rally on January 6th, you have to see these things see and feel these things with your own eyes and heart to be like, okay, now I'm going to be louder because this really matters.
Mm. But, did you have something?
Well, I was going to say, since you are a Trump supporter, what do you think 45's legacy is going to be that you're going to take into history?
Honestly, there's not going to be anything good that's said about him that's put in history because we don't control history. MSM controls history. Anything that we read, even from the Bible, we didn't write that. We weren't there. People put that in the Bible on their own, and we're supposed to believe it. So people can put whatever they want in a history book, they can put whatever they want online, and we're supposed to believe it because it comes from a main source. Even if a primary source, I even had people telling me that I wasn't even at the march on January 6th. Okay. Now I wasn't at the march. First of all, no, you don't know what you're talking about. No, you weren't there. So we have a direction that ABC, NBC, CNN, that they lead us. And they say what they want to say. And so that is history. So whatever legacy they want for him to have, that's what it's going to be in the mainstream. Then there's those of us outside of the matrix that are like, we really know what he did. He made sure that there's going to be money for black colleges for the next 10 years. Because those colleges were struggling, and he made sure that there's funding for that. He made sure that he tried to make sure there's transparency whenever we go to the hospital. Because how many times have you guys gone to have a procedure done and you have no clue how much it's going to cost until you get the bill? Whereas he's made it to where it's a competition. You get to see what this hospital is charging. You can see what this hospital is charging. So to me, medical is important. Education is important. Trying to get people, for lack of better wording, off their ass and get moving, because he's a worker. Trump is a worker. You can't fault him for being a hard worker. And so, if anything, if you know him from a different perspective, you know that he's had it out to make us better as a society.
So when you say all that with the COVID and you know everything, the mainstream media, all this is under his watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my confusion, or not even confusion, but how we talk about this 2020 and what a horror it was and all of that, and true enough, it was some craziness going on in that. But it's like, okay, he was the commander-in-chief. He's the leader. So what did he do that was...
Okay, so I'm going to give a perspective that a lot of people are not going to understand because you're still in the matrix. I'm on the outside of the matrix. President Trump, in my heart of hearts, I feel like he knew what was going on. And I don't mean that in the sense of...
No, I got you.
I mean it in the sense of classified information. Mm-hmm. And you can only put out so much information to the public before you cause extreme chaos. So I feel like President Trump knew that the Wuhan virus, it's not the coronavirus, it's not COVID-19, it's the Wuhan virus. You name a virus based upon where it came from, and it came out of Wuhan, China. So I feel like he understood...
What kind of facts do you have to
I'm sorry?
What kind of facts do you have to base that on, that it came out of Wuhan, China?
Well, I mean, it did
Wherever it come from.
It did come out of China. I mean, that's the information that's available to us as far as giving it a destination of where it came from. I mean, that's exactly where people got sick from. Now, did it come from a bat, or did it come from something they made in a lab? That's where the controversy lies, and they're not ever going to say that on mainstream media because of all these other reasons that if I talk about it, people are going to think that I'm freaking crazy. But it's okay.
They think I'm crazy too.
Yeah. But I feel like, I know, it's okay.
Yeah, it's like, it's all good.
And I talk with my hands. I'm seeing my hands all over the place. Okay.
Same thing. I'm trying to hold my leg.
Okay. So what I feel like Trump's legacy is, like, he stopped the travel from China. And then he was called a xenophobe. Well, it doesn't matter if Trump takes a dump at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. He's in trouble for it. Okay? Anything that he ever did, and I'm basing this upon what I've seen from media. I don't know if you guys watch ABC all day long.
I don't watch it.
Okay? And I'm not literally watching all day long, but I'm walking in and out, and I'm typically screaming at the TV like, ugh. Because you guys have to also remember, one, I'm a child of Gary Wofford. Okay? And what's funny is my dad is a Biden supporter. Okay, so whenever I talk to you guys about this, it's not that I have this happy-go-lucky life where people in my family agree with me. One side doesn't agree with me, the other side does. So my dad always taught me to do my own research. And then it's like I do my own research, and then he's mad at me for doing my own research. And I'm like, you taught me how to do this.
Much.
But I was a research assistant at Missouri Southern for a short amount of time where I had to do some different research in history. But my major is in mass communications. And so they basically, if you don't have a logical thinker, they at least teach you how to spot things that are not right in the media. So I already had it in my heart for years that something wasn't right. And then I finally caught on to fake news. If you don't understand what fake news is, it's basically the MSM, mainstream media, is either giving you a portion of the truth or just a totally false narrative. And if you don't know how to spot these things, then you think that I'm crazy. Mm. And so I see things that other people don't. But as far as Trump goes, what was your question? How he is responsible for this? There's no way that he can even be responsible for it because, one, he didn't create it. It came out of a lab in Wuhan, China, and then he did everything that he was trying to do based upon the advisors that he had. There's never going to be a flattening the curve. They're going to continue to shut people down until we say, no, don't shut us down. So that's all I have to revert back to is the Wuhan virus. Mm.
Well, and I guess that part is like, I'm talking about you've had the violence, the killings, the riots, the protests, all of that was at a very, very heightened in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying because I knew when a lot of the rhetoric, and I say rhetoric because whether it was Biden or whether it was Trump, rhetoric was on, well, we're going to get control back. We're going to get control back. You know, if this is if you want this kind of living, and then vote for Biden. If you want this kind of living, then vote for Trump. Well, all this was under Trump. So that's the part where I'm like, I don't understand.
But if you have a media that is against you, like right now, like in this interview right now, you guys can chop up any portion of what I say and what you say and turn it into any show that you want. Unfortunately, we're live, so everybody knows what I'm saying. But if we were to pre-record this and you were to put it online later, some of my words could be taken out of context. So that's a lot of what Trump's legacy is a lot of his words being taken out of context. And as far as like what he could do, I mean, you were mayor of Joplin for a little bit. If this were to happen, you wouldn't know without you ever having any experience in a pandemic. You are literally just playing it by ear. True. You literally are. And hoping for the best and hoping that your advisors are giving you the right information, but they don't even know the information because this was a precedent for our nation and for our world. And I feel like those that were in position to do positive outcomes did the best that they could do. But damage has been done, and there's a lot of people who are very much convinced that we're all going to die.
Well, we are eventually. Everybody's got an expiration date, as I said earlier. Everybody's got an expiration date.
We're going to close the dash.
Yeah, it's going to be. But you know, we don't all have to die from COVID.
No,
you know, or whatever. Yeah, I'm with you on that on the COVID thing. I just, you know, something ain't right.
So let's talk about fast forward January 6th, since you were there, physically there.
She said she was there. I was watching.
I was there. I was there.
She out there.
She said she was there.
She's out there. So I mean, tell us about the feeling. Tell us about the things like leading up to. Like, talk to us about some of that.
So myself, my 14-year-old daughter, and was there, and I like to say that because I had comments online that said that my daughter should not have been there. Another couple, and then we met another couple while we were there. So there were 6 of us there. I was not there with my husband. We don't typically travel separate, but he had to work. So it was very nerve-wracking going into a situation like this because our friends had already been to a different rally. There was one in November and December. And what they said was what the media had portrayed on their broadcast was not what had happened. So I'm just anticipating this. But we showed up it was on a Wednesday. So we showed up on a Monday, and then on Tuesday night we went to a small rally. And there are people on the right side. There are a lot of black people in the community on the right side that I follow. And so some of them were there. Right now their names are not coming into my head. But they were there. They were speaking. It was just very low key. There was tons of people there, but they were just little short speeches. They had probably 10 people in 10 minutes come up and do speeches. So my friends were like, "Hey, this is just a sample. Tomorrow's going to be way bigger." But just picture every race possible, and people selling Trump t-shirts. I mean, I got my little hump, my Trump little Scully. I got that while I was there. I mean, it was just a good time. You're just there for fellowship is the best way to describe it. So then we show up the next day on the actual hill, Capitol Hill. And there was an enclosed area that you could go into as long as you didn't have backpacks or flags, because they were worried about the backpacks and flags. So we weren't in that area. But I don't know if you guys understand how big the space is. Have you guys ever been to D.C.?
Yes.
Okay, so
many times.
we were back there by the monument, but way up ahead, there was the stage and everything. So we get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and what I say is every time I turn back, I'm like, there's like another 1,000 people there. Like you would be in a conversation and another 1,000 people. Before you knew it, you're like, oh my God, there's like 1 million people here. Legitimately. So we were there from 7 to 2, and it was just speeches. There were street preachers. This is what they don't show on mainstream media. This went on from 7 to 2. You mean to tell me that whenever you guys were flying your little helicopters around, you couldn't get any footage of any of the good things that happened that day? Any of the people that were preaching with their microphones, any of the people that had their Stop Communism signs, there was Asian Americans, Black Americans, Indian Americans, every race possible at this event before Trump even spoke. But MSM won't show you that. So we're there. We're just, and so many loving people. You would walk, whenever I say this is like church, it was literally, you know what church, when they're like, go tell your neighbor hi. Hi, neighbor. Hi, neighbor. So that's exactly what it was like. You'd walk down the sidewalk, and they'd be like, hi, honey, where are you from? I'm from Oklahoma. Where are you from? You sound like you're from down south. I'm from Georgia. I'm a rodeo girl. I'm just so thankful that you're here. I just love you so much. Go Trump. Okay? Go Trump. Okay. Literally, that was like the day. These are regular people. Regular people.
You say they're regular people who breached our Capitol building.
No,
that's not what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. That's not the same one.
Got
Just the ones that are outside. Okay, I was just getting ready to say, I do remember whichever media you want to watch. They've been showing that our Capitol building was breached on the 6th of January.
Yeah.
By
it was.
A lot of people.
It was.
Doing a lot of different things.
It was, but the people that were going in first, those weren't Trump supporters. So 7 to 2. This is on. So 7 to 2. We're on the Hill. We're doing this. Trump comes up to speak. He was supposed to speak at 12, but he spoke at 1. And I'm going to be real raw with you guys. He spoke at 1. An hour later, and he carried on and on and on and on and on about the fraud. These are already things that we had already heard. He spoke so long about it that people actually were getting irritated and were walking off because we had already heard all these things. We wanted to know what was happening on January 6th while they were in Congress. And I have footage from this. If anyone wants to message me, I can give you footage, the little bit that I have. So then he says, so we're going to march to the Capitol. It wasn't, we're going to go there and we're going to wreck shop and tear things up. We're going to march to the Capitol. 12 blocks. Yeah. So, this is me being raw with y'all. Again, with my people, I said, I feel like the closer that we're getting to the Capitol, the more angry that people are getting. Something wasn't right. Something in the air was not right. So we went from happy from 7 to 2 to pissed off at 2. Okay? And it wasn't Trump. It was the people among us with their bullhorns. They're screaming different things. I was even to the point where I'm like screaming weird stuff. Things are coming out of my mouth. I'm like, why am I even saying this? This is stupid. But we're getting closer and closer and closer. And one of the guys that was in my group, we're literally where we can touch the Capitol walls. Okay, so this is where things get different. There's randomly a scaffolding. Why is there scaffolding there? I don't know. Scaffolding there. There's equipment that people can get in and just drive. I didn't know that you could just drive equipment. Do you just leave keys in cars? But what we had been warned of is that there might be people there that are on the left that are trying to antagonize people. So we're so close to the building that there's a guy with a bullhorn, and he's screaming the entire time, move forward, and he's more annoying than me. But he's move forward, and I'm just kind of looking at this guy like, he doesn't look like us. He doesn't seem like a Trump supporter. My husband's not here. I'm getting a little bit nervous. My daughter's here. People are climbing the scaffolding. I was just starting to get, like, I needed my husband. is all that boiled down to. I'm like, I need him here to be my guidance. And so this guy keeps yelling, move forward, move forward, move forward. Well, then as we're standing there, 3 guys pop up behind us, all black, gas mask on. And they're like, we got to get in there. We got to get in there. We got to get in there. And I'm like, okay, they're making me nervous. This guy's making me nervous. We got to leave. Like, we got to retreat. We got to get back at least because I don't feel safe here.
Good.
Okay? So, in my heart of hearts, I do not believe those were Trump supporters. Why would you show up in all black and a gas mask?
Case in point, in the Black BLM, the Black Lives Matter groups, exact same kind of people show up. And when the Black Lives Matter people said, oh, we were infiltrated, they were planning, they were this and this and this, and it was big hoopla, nobody believed it, and then the Black Lives Matter group was banned as militant and, this and this and this. So what is the difference?
So let me back up to Tennessee whenever I was there. So whenever I say that I feel like it was programmed, I'm not saying that there weren't actually people within the BLM march, and I'm saying there's 1,000 people there. That's a lot of people that weren't there for George Floyd. I'm not saying that because I would have jumped in line with them if I didn't have a bathing suit on and But in that moment, I was like, okay, there's some paid protesters in here, and there's some real people in here that don't know that they're paid protesters.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's where my mind went. So that's the same thing with the rally, the march, is there's some people that shouldn't have been in there, and there were some people that were there for the right reasons. We were there to support President Trump, and then there were some people that fell victim of peer pressure. Because even my group was even thinking about going further, and I'm like, nope, Jason will kill me. So we got to get out of here. But those guys behind us, I even said, you guys go. Like, get up there, do what you need to do. But I've got footage on my website where there's people on the bottom part, which would have been like a basement. They're handing bats out. Who's on the bottom handing bats out? And if you just watch the footage that I have on my website without the dramatic music that ABC puts in, you can tell things are a little bit kind of fishy. Where the cops are kind of like, no, don't you this big mob, don't come in here. No, oh, I gotta run. You're trying to get me. I mean, it's just there's portions of it that are very pre-planned. There's no way that you can take a picture with 10 people and you guys are all posing for your picture. Hey, we're in the Capitol. And then the cops come in and check on you. I've got footage of cops just standing back, not even doing a damn thing. And Trump supporters saying, why are you doing nothing? You're doing absolutely nothing. And they won't say anything. So there's too many discrepancies in this day to blame it all on Trump. But this is mainstream media, so they're not going to tell you everything. And until you understand that, I'm sorry to anyone that's watching, until you understand that, I seem like I'm cuckoo. Promise you, I'm not that crazy.
We're going to be right. You're going to be right back with Kristenee Smith here in about 2 minutes. We're going to take a quick break.
I was like,
we're on the second commercial.
okay. 24, 26.
We got 10 minutes left.
Which way you want to go next, Chris?
I hate that our faces are like this. That's why I keep staring at the thing and just looking at her.
Well, it's okay because it looks like you're looking at
Just be natural. Just be natural. Whatever you want to ask me.
It's looking good. It's looking good.
Is there
Because
anything
I've
that you
been
want to
watching
touch on that we
Well, if
missed
you
so
look
far?
at her, then the cameras aren't. Okay, we're coming. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Forget
Okay,
Kind of won't
I
slow
was
that
actually
right
something.
down.
For the future. Plans for the future.
We're
That'd
on.
be a good thing. What's next for you?
Oh, what's
Talk
next?
about your events there.
Yeah,
I want to talk about how rude DC was.
Okay, I was going to say, go back there because I know you said you had some issues.
Are we?
What's that?
We're coming back.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on just a second. Getting through the last part of the commercial. We're on the jewelry.
Which way are we going?
We're gonna let her-
Wind blows us.
you know, help, Lord.
All right, and 3, 2, 1.
We're back.
We are back.
Look, I had to let Kristenee get some water, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's giving y'all a biography here.
But she was in D.C. January 6th when all the excitement was happening and giving us the live, uncut version.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit more about what your experience was there.
So D.C. itself, the locals were not, like, they're obviously not pro-Trump, which is fine. That's the thing that people don't understand, like we talked about earlier. It's you can like clowns and ice cream. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is that puts you to sleep at night. I really don't care. But it's whenever you attack me, that's whenever I care.
Yes.
So, I'll give you an example. I've had more hate from the black community than I ever could from the white community, and I'm just going to say it because it's ridiculous. But in D.C. itself, I'm on a sidewalk. We're waiting for an Uber. I've got my red MAGA, whatever you call it, Scully on. And there's a black gentleman who's jogging by. He's literally doing exercise. And he says something to me as I'm on the phone with my dad. He's mad at me because I'm at the Trump rally.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm trying to talk to him, and this guy says something, whatever. And I'm like, what? And he points to my hat and says something that I still couldn't hear. Apparently it was really rude. But basically he told me that I should be embarrassed as a black female that I'm there. And then there's another black gentleman who's like security for like a bank that just happens to be there in this little sidewalk area. And he's like, I may not agree with Trump, but that was rude, basically. He said it in different words. But that's rude of him to say something to you and then jog off. Because I couldn't even have a conversation with the guy about it because he said something cute and then he walked off, and then he ran off. Then every restaurant we went to, the last restaurant we went to, the weirdest service ever. We had a bartender who didn't like us. We're all in our Trump gear. And I want to tell you guys that you can think whatever you want about discrimination and racism as far as like how it works. But if you don't like somebody because of who they vote for or what they believe in, you're a racist in yourself. So those people, the way that they treated us, they were discriminating against us because we were Trump supporters. This bartender did not want to serve us, and he said, you're just going to have to wait 30 minutes later. You're just going to have to wait. I don't know what to tell you. So that was the experiences that we got. So you can't tell me that taking Trump out is making people any better. You were already rude to begin with.
That's true.
Did they take your money?
And that's exactly what I said to the manager. I said, my money? You're going to take my money, right?
It was green. It was green money.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't agreeing. That was just his side job. So he did not quit his day job.
So I want to go back to on the January the 6th and being there because you guys knew about this coming up. You knew about it. We're going to go back. You knew about this coming up. How many weeks? A couple weeks?
Yeah, so we planned it probably 2 or 3 weeks in advance.
My deal is and again, I keep going back to the BLM. There's other groups too, but when they went to the Capitol and were met with the National Guard, and they knew it, and it was only a 2 week, maybe not even that long, but it was a symbol, got them there, everybody, they was there. When you guys went, and I'm saying you guys as in supporters, Trump supporters went, all of a sudden it's crickets up there. We don't have the guard there. We don't have.
But isn't that funny though?
Nobody.
Isn't that funny though?
No, I'm looking for. I mean, is that because we had a
isn't
black
that
group?
Suspicious?
Absolutely, it is to me.
It is very suspicious.
I mean, you have a black group that needs the militia, and you have predominantly white. Predominantly.
Oh no, I don't think I probably only saw 10 black people.
Yeah, so I'm like predominantly white, and
even though
you have nobody.
There's more y'all out there. So
Yeah,
quit
there
playing.
are. But I'm just saying, and it's like the discrepancy, you know.
But that's where we're living in these weird realities of, okay, are they not having the National Guard there just to make black people mad? Because whenever we got done with the day, keep in mind that we didn't have service on our phones. Okay, there's 800,000 people there, so the connection was very, very bad. So we couldn't go online throughout the day. Whenever we get done with the day, we're so proud of ourselves. We're like, we made history. We marched on the Capitol. We marched to the Capitol. We were on Capitol Hill. Blah blah blah. We had no clue that the media was making us look a certain type of way. So whenever I get online, I'm like, you should have been here. And I'm talking about Trump supporters. And I know not everyone could come, but I'm like, you should have been here because we're trying to stop the steal. We're trying to stop. And those that don't, if you guys don't believe that the election was fraud, then don't even listen to anything I'm saying, because you're not going to agree with anything that I'm saying at all. So there's like, I should have said that from the very beginning. If you think the election was legit, you should have logged off 30 minutes ago. But it wasn't. Okay. So that's why we were there. And I really do think that there was the whole chaotic. They wanted things to be chaotic, and they knew that they could play into that, and they knew there wasn't going to be a bunch of Black Americans there. I mean, there was more Asian Americans there than there were Black Americans there. Why were there Asian Americans there? Because of the CCP, okay, communism, and they had their signs up. I've got pictures of it. Stop Chinese communism. I've got newspapers these little newspapers that they handed out to all of us to teach us what's going on. Do you know right now that they're organ harvesting in China? Okay, they put you in jail because you don't agree with the state religion, and then they kill you and they take your organs. If you don't believe me, don't worry. Okay, I'm just saying. That's why there were so many Asians. Liberate Hong Kong. That was one of the signs that I saw. Liberate Hong Kong. Okay, why are all these issues being brought up? Because they think that Trump is the answer. Okay, so Trump is there because Trump isn't a politician. Trump is a businessman, okay? And whenever people also reference him as being referenced, I don't think that you could be a racist billionaire. I really don't. I don't think that you can make that much money in the world and be racist. And I'm not talking just to Black people. I'm saying if you only like white people, that's a lot of money to make to only like white people. You got to be able to woo everybody.
I've never thought that he was a racist. I've always knew that he's very egotistical. He's very narcissistic. And it's all about him. Yeah. It's never it's about the green dollar. He's how much money can I make and who can I make it off of?
It is. And so we may not want to take his approach as far as narcissism, but we may also like his game plan as far as making money. So we can be inspired by him and also be like, okay, I'm only going to take bits and pieces of you. But what I was getting at is we get online afterwards and we're proud. We're posting our videos. I'm like, my daughter made history today. And then people are like, you're a traitor! You're a domestic terrorist! We're boycotting your business. And I'm like, whoa, what? What happened? Wait a minute. I had no clue. My mom's calling me, get out of there! And, I mean, it was serious, but it wasn't that serious. Because if you had some common sense that day, you didn't get the whole peer pressure aspect of it.
But from what we all saw,
it looks awful. It does look awful. And I'm not going to deny that. Yeah. But I am saying that we were there from 7 to 2, and it was kumbaya. It really was kumbaya.
I don't know, but from Rodney King to January the 6th, anything your eyes lay eyes on the television set or whatever it is, it's all make-believe because we don't really see that. They make the full story. They make you think that this really didn't happen. And what I saw on the 6th was un-American on some things. Now, just protesting is not un-American. That's a right.
So
we have that right as an American to protest.
Let's think about Joplin.
In the right way. We can't just tear up things.
Right.
You know, we had a 1 million man march back in the early days. They didn't tear up nothing. They didn't even breach the Capitol, didn't get close to it.
Well,
if they would have,
they
would have said something.
Who's raising kids today? One. And I'm not saying it's kids in there, but you got to think about the difference in upbringing. But think about Joplin. Joplin's what, 50,000 people right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Think about the craziness that goes on within 50,000 people on top of the other people that come into our community on the weekends. There was 800,000 people there that day. If something didn't go wrong that day, then if we live in a population of 800,000 people and everyone's perfect, that's mind-blowing. So there were some bad seeds in there, and then there was also some people with low-level thinking that went along with some of the, getting into the Capitol. But there's also footage that they will not show you on mainstream media where people are yelling at the cops saying, why are you letting this happen?
800,000 by whose count? Was that the Park Service's count?
No, that was with my own eyes. That was with my own eyes.
You counted 800,000.
I'm telling you, there was a lot of people there. It wasn't...
Okay.
I mean, and all you got to do, so if you look at the footage from the mass of people that they show around the Capitol, okay, so let's say this is the Capitol, and this is all the people that are storming it from here. Way back here was, and here's another thing that I was trying to tell people is I stopped 2 sets of parents to tell them not to take their children any further. Whenever we finally decided, okay, something's not right, we got to get away from here, parents were walking up with their kids who are like ages 8, 9, 10, and I'm like, I said, don't go up there. Don't go up any further. At that point in time, they were shooting out the rubber bullets. They had the tear gas going on. I could taste it in my throat. I'm like, I know this from being OC, from being a police officer.
That's your good Midwest upbringing.
Yeah.
Training.
Your good Midwest upbringing. He told you to go back.
But the thing was, there was a mom with a daughter, and I was like, don't take her up there. And she looked at me like I was crazy, and I turned to the daughter and I said, how old are you? And she said 8. And I said, do not take her up there. That's where the confusion was. We're there for kumbaya, and then all this other craziness is going on that none of us had even planned for. We didn't plan that.
And see, and that's what I'm saying. It's no different, except for without breaching the Capitol, than these other groups that are protesting, and they get labeled as these terrorist, problem starters, and then you have the Trump rally group, and they just get labeled as, well, as you're saying, that wasn't us. I mean, but I'm just saying, each one is saying we have people infiltrating.
So everybody's getting played. Everyone's getting played.
There you go.
By what the media wants to. So I'm not wrong. Anyone else?
There we go.
Everyone's not like wrong or right. It's you. Whenever you're there and you can feel it and you can see it. I am so blessed that I was there for a BLM march and that I was there for that rally, for that march, no matter how much hate I got from it. I am so glad that I was there to see it with my own eyes, because all that I would have is what they're showing on MSM, and I'd be like, damn, the people are crazy. Climb scaling the walls.
That's what they have people believing now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at.
I'm glad you were able to share your side of what you were able to see.
True.
And what you were able to witness on that day. It's always fun to get someone's perspective that was on site.
True that.
Yeah.
True
And
that.
I truly welcome anybody to go, even if you don't support Trump. If you hear that there's a party for Trump, just go. I mean, you might have a conversation with people who don't even realize where their political beliefs actually lie. You're like, oh, actually, you're not a Democrat, you're a Republican. Whenever you start talking to them, you're like, oh, sorry to tell you, but you're a Republican. Yeah. Okay, and Republican's not even a good way to say things at this point in time, because you can't trust none of them.
None of them. D or R. Yes.
We got a question, Chris, and to tell us about the burning building in Tennessee.
Oh, wait, on the BLM march or the
I think it's the BLM march. This is from Jason.
Oh, okay. So what they were saying is like, okay. So Minnesota was where all the drama originally started, because that's where George Floyd was from. And there was footage of the city on fire. Well, apparently this footage was actually from a movie. So they were using a lot of movie footage of burning buildings to scare people on MSM. So that was one of the things that they said, is that the Capitol had burned down in Nashville, Tennessee. And so we go driving around the next day and we're like, it's like a little bit of fireworks, but like the Capitol was still there. So, I mean, they put us on a curfew of like, they made us go back to our hotel rooms because they were worried. And there were some A's that were spray painted. But for the most part, everything was fine. Everything was chill. But on the news, they're going to make you believe that it was a war zone. So that's where it was like, something's not right. Like, what are they trying to make happen? So as you live out 2020, or if you have hindsight as 2020, that's weird. Hindsight's 2020. Whoa, hello.
You heard it here, folks.
Okay? That hindsight is real 2020. Yeah. Then you're like, oh, it all makes sense.
Another question. Thoughts on Fox News?
Who's asking this question? Just kidding.
For real.
So, I don't have my TV on Fox, just to be honest. My TV is on ABC because I found their daytime television more entertaining, just as far as my own personal preference. So anything that I see from Fox is on like Facebook, etc. So there is, who's the guy? Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson. I will listen to the two of them, but I don't actually have Fox on all day, so I can't give you like a good opinion. But I do hear that they're towing the line. Like they pick ones that like one day they're Trump, one day they're Biden, or left, right, whatever. You know,
they're part of mainstream media also.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
someone's got the puppet string somewhere.
It's all about the dollars. All
Yeah.
about the dollars, and that's what's controlling everything.
Exactly. So as just being your own person within your own, if you feel like something isn't right, do your own research. Use DuckDuckGo. Google's probably going to filter, so use DuckDuckGo. There's different apps like Telegram. Telegram has an amazing base of people that are sharing different news. And I'm not telling you to just listen to right side or left side. I'm telling you to listen to both so that you can come to a conclusion on what you feel like is right. But if you only listen to one side, then of course you're going to be brainwashed. I don't always agree with President Trump or anybody that's on the right, but I agree with the fact that my business got shut down and that I feel like there were some fake protesters and that I know Antifa was behind me at the march. I know that. So that's my own personal experience. But there's a lot of...
That's a lot.
So look, I don't want to ignore the people. There's another question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about people saying 45 inspired the infiltration? Is that the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Insurrection.
Infiltration.
I think that's the word he's looking for.
Call it whatever you want.
Well, it says insultation. I know that's not the word he's looking
Listen,
for.
is that the whole question?
You have to.
I'm going to tell you that he did not inspire that because we literally were tired of hearing him talk. Okay? I'm being real honest with you. He went on and on and on about the fraud. We already knew about the fraud. We already knew the numbers. He's like, 21,000 people out of Georgia, blah, blah, blah. He literally gave all these numbers. And when I say flags were coming down, and people were getting tired, I'm being legit. Like, people were getting exhausted listening to the same things that we had already heard since the November 3rd election. So all that he said was, okay, so Congress is meeting right now, and so we were waiting for Vice President Pence to decide on if he was actually going to, what was the deal with that? Decide if he was going to favor President Trump or something. Not count the votes or whatever it is. So that's what Trump was saying is, let's go and like make a presence. That's what we are supposed to do as Americans. If you feel that something is not right and that we have an injustice, you're supposed to take your ass to DC and do something about it. And that's exactly what I did. But I got called a traitor, I got called a terrorist, and while everybody else sat on their asses and they watched MSM and tried to tell us exactly what happened. In fact, even tried to tell me that I wasn't there. I was there, I know what happened. But as far as him inspiring anything, I was not inspired by Trump to go beat any windows in or go get shot.
So what do we send our representatives, senators to Washington to do for us?
Good question.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're supposed
everybody
to.
We can't send 200 million people to Washington, D.C. to express your opinion. So I thought that's why we elect our representatives and senators to do this.
They stay in there too long.
I don't even know who they are really. But I do know who my mayor is.
Yeah.
That's local enough.
I do know who my police officers are.
Yeah.
Okay. I do know who our governor is. So we can be mad at President Trump. We can be mad at President Biden. But President Biden has nothing to do with Commerce, Oklahoma. Absolutely nothing to do. Okay. But Elijah Redden does. Mayor Michael Hart did whenever he was the mayor. Melody did whenever she was the mayor. So if you have an issue about what's going on, you need to start locally and talk with your leaders there. And then whenever you can make a small community, a great community, then other communities want to mimic that. And then they go out into the world. It's going to make me cry because I'm just like,
she's
it's
a
so
patriot,
simple.
y'all.
But it's just so simple. Like, everyone wants to be so mad about why are you mad? Who's making you mad? Is your are your local officials making you mad? No. MSM is making you mad. So don't talk to them. Don't get mad at the TV. Go talk to someone locally and see how you can make your community better. That's literally all that you have to do in order to have happiness. Don't listen to what they're telling you online or telling you on the TV as far as like, there's a certain age group, they don't get online. My dad and my mom, all they have is MSM. So every day I'm trying to correct them. I'm like, listen, don't take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So
that's
it starts locally. It really does.
That's what so you would be in favor of term limits for your congressional reps? Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
me too.
And the thing is, like, I'm not the same person I was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Time is changing. We have to move with it. Time is moving no matter what. And some people want to stay back there rather than moving with it. So if that's fine. If you want to stay back there, then stay back there. Let someone else come in and don't get cozy. Just like with teachers, if you don't want to teach anymore, get the heck out of it.
Done.
When I don't like something, I'm done. Like literally, I'm like, nope. When I was a cop, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was done.
I get it. Man, my last question, and then I know we probably went over time, but we don't really care.
We don't show.
But I guess, and when you say the kumbaya of the January 6th when Trump was speaking until y'all got tired of him, it's like, okay, when you're going to the Capitol, and I know you say let your voice be heard and everything, but it's like, what did you expect to be the outcome? I mean, did you expect for them to go in and change votes, or what did you expect?
So I'm a PR person, public relations, and I know the day didn't turn out that great as far as what MSM shows, but when I look at number 46, and I see that he can't get anyone to even support him physically, like in person, then I look at number 45, and people absolutely adore him. I'm not saying everyone does, but people adore him. So that was the message that I thought that we were sending, honestly. And I know that that's why I was there. So that hasn't changed, no matter what they portray on the media. We can't go in there and get Nancy Pelosi and AOC and all these different people to change their mind because, one, they're paid to think a certain way. But we would.
Mitch McConnell. We're going to keep it both ways.
Okay.
They're all paid to think like that.
Yeah. I got you. Exactly. And that's why I'm like, Republican, Democrat, you don't even know where the line is.
Money.
But this was all for Trump. These were people that actually had hope in Trump, and we're just there. It was just like, it could be someone's wedding, it could have been someone's funeral, it could have been someone's birthday. We were there to support President Trump for whatever, because we felt like he had been wronged. So I would hope, and people did come to my defense whenever they were wanting to boycott our businesses after the march. I would hope that people would come to save me in a sense, to make me feel, okay, you guys really do support me. Not everyone hates me because I was there. Because you guys know what it's like whenever someone doesn't like you. Then you start to get feelings in your head where you're like, God, does everybody feel this way? Yeah. Then you're starting to wonder. So you can only imagine being a public official and people hating you. So we were there just to support him and to show our love for him and to say, hey, no matter what the outcome is of today, we're here for you. We did not know what was going on. And from my understanding, people had already breached the Capitol before we had even been dismissed from the speeches. So all they have to do is take the time log from the surveillance to see if the ones with the horns that were doing all the posing, all the picture posing, and got to spend time with the security on campus, what time they were in there. And I can pretty much guarantee they were there before we even started marching. So.
It's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes, we can have a part 2.
I'm glad I was a part.
No, but that's the thing though. Like, I would love for people to be there. It is not anything that they're showing. You would have been there talking to people. Yeah. It just like you wouldn't. I mean,
at Walmart.
7 to 2. 7 to 2.
At Walmart.
And then as we marched closer to the Capitol, you'd been like, hey, get down from there. What the heck are you doing?
What are you doing?
Now, from there, you're better training than that. I think we need to clear up, too, that a lot of people are thinking you keep saying MSN, like as in MSNBC.
I gotcha.
She's saying MSM, mainstream media. Yeah. Mainstream, that's all those news outlets, all of them. I'm going to say all of them because they all will show you what gets the ratings. Just like newspapers, they print what's going to catch you and hook you in. So she's saying MSN, mainstream media.
They're no different than a magazine that you would pick up at this point in time. And I'm not saying that some of their information isn't true, but some of it is a version of the truth, and it just twists your mind. I mean, you hear something enough, and you will start to believe it. And that's where my mind went in the beginning of 2020. I'm like, they're trying to brainwash us. I could tell from the commercials about COVID. I'm like, something's not right. I'm like, I could feel myself like backing away from the TV because I'm like, I don't believe anything they're saying right now. So that brought it home, that honed it in for me. All these experiences of 2020. I was a silent Trump supporter.
Question. You don't know anybody that has died from COVID-19? You don't know anybody that's died?
Actually, to be honest, I don't know anybody personally that's died. I do know of people that have passed away, but what's the follow-up question?
I mean, that's my question.
Well, I'm not saying that the illness isn't real. but how it got here and the way that they talk about the numbers, I don't believe that the numbers are real. As far as, 10,000 Americans died today from COVID, whenever we have different reports of people saying, actually, that person died in a car crash, but they had COVID earlier in the month, and now they're being. And the thing, what was going on with that is, if you died in an accident, but they list you as COVID because you had COVID earlier within the 30 days, insurance companies are not paying for the accidental death. So families are fighting with insurance companies because their family members have been listed as COVID whenever they got stabbed or whatever. They fell off they fell off a building.
Yeah. So
they're not getting that supplemental insurance because of the way that they're coded. So there's different stories that they're not telling you on mainstream media that you. This is how much I talk about this. I am officially banned from Facebook, and mainly because of talking about COVID. Okay, I would share information that was helpful, and they would say, no, this is false. This is misleading. Even though I would say, read it yourself.
Yep. 45 was banned too. He was banned from Facebook. 45 was banned from Facebook also.
Yeah,
Twitter.
Well, I feel like I'm like one of his kids now because he got banned and I got banned. So I'm officially Trump's child. I'm a Trump baby. Okay. So, but anyway, that's how much the censorship too. I mean,
Roberto Hernandez.
what's up, Roberto?
But I'm sitting there, I'm like, he's written a whole lot. I don't think he's got a question in there though. He's talking about my Uncle Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, he just. And we get it, guys. We get it. We get it that everybody is not a Trump supporter and everybody is not a Biden supporter.
And
we get that, and it's okay.
Even those that are not Trump supporters, I fully agree. He's done some good. And
Absolutely.
we've had those conversations. Like, you can't just be like, oh, life was just the pits. Like, oh, really? He did nothing good for you? Like, you know what I mean? Nothing at all.
His way that he gives the information is off-putting to people.
Oh yeah, he's
Okay.
definitely
Real
not
jacked.
a people
Real
person.
jacked.
I'll give you that. Yeah. I mean, but he had big shoes to fill now. Like, you come behind
Boom.
President Obama, who's a good orator, right? How on earth when you come in, it's like,
You're like, dang.
you let me down a little. So, I mean,
Well,
it is what it is. It's hard shoes to fill. But again, I'm just saying, even if you don't care for him as a person, you cannot say that he just,
he
souls
ruined
up
your
around
life.
and-
Did he
Yeah,
ruin your
absolutely.
life? No.
And if he
ruined your life.
did, if you didn't have much going in the first place.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I want to get at least.
Yeah.
Like, think about how bad the world is that we are sitting here right now having a conversation freely. In other
Yeah.
countries, you cannot do that.
Can't do
That's
it.
right.
So
Can't do it.
we live in a great nation, and
That's true.
I feel like I said, go local. I mean, are you going to live in Washington D.C. or do you have to live in the White House with President Trump, President Biden? No, but you do have to live in your own community. What can you do for your own community and for the children
True that.
that are coming up in the world?
True that.
I'm worried about the kids more than
Yeah.
I'm worried about who our president is, honestly.
Yeah.
There's just so much in that, Kristenee, and I know I've talked to you a couple times about how, you say, oh, lost 5 friends today, back when you had a Facebook page.
I know.
And I was just kind of like,
The good old days.
yeah, we differ. But I'm not going to cut off my friend I've known
Nope.
since childhood
Yeah.
because she differs from what I think. Like, so be it. Like, that's just crazy to
That
me.
is.
Like, at the end of the day, President Trump doesn't know who I am.
No,
President
Don't.
Biden doesn't know who I
you know
am.
who we are.
Yeah.
No, I can say, I got a picture. I remember. He may not remember, though.
Oh, yeah,
Because they
you-
both old as dirt.
Wait, you met Obama, right?
I met Obama, Biden. I ain't
Trump?
met Trump.
No.
No, actually, I did meet Trump. I didn't know.
All that back then.
Yeah, it's long.
But yeah. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, hey, that's great. I
It
love that
is.
you were able to go and speak your piece and do your thing. I have never, ever felt comfortable enough to go out, even here in Joplin, because I know there's always those people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you
True
might be
that.
there for a peaceful, moment and
Oh,
just be
I
a
know what you're
part.
saying.
But there's always going to be those people that want to start some stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, hey,
Always.
I'm going to
That's
support
what I
them back
said.
here always.
800,000 people. If you didn't think that something kooky was going to go on within 800,000 people, then you obviously live in a Hallmark movie because
Hey,
that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
I mean,
So what are
people's-
you doing down in Commerce for Black History Month? I
I'm
mean,
the
we
only-
all
black person
know.
there.
We all know it's 24/7, 365. But just curious. What y'all got
I'm the
going-
only
what y'all
person
got
there.
going?
I'm So I'm the only black person in commerce. I'm literally the ononly black person in commerce other than Demaya. So we have a large Hispanic population. So we did have Hispanic Heritage Month in September. So that was good. But really, our community is great. So if the population was bigger, or if maybe I could find a way to market it or whatever to teach people. But I'm more interested in what we are doing, advancing currently.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love all of our black historians. My dad could tell you everything about anything black history. But I'm so excited for the black leaders that we have today, like Larry Elder. There's just so many amazing people that I like to look forward to, and for Demaya to look up to, because they are in the public eye of speaking. And if you got to find your voice and be vocal.
True that. What do you think about Stacey Abrams? I know that's not on your side, but I'm just saying. Just the way she was able to rally up people to get out and vote, whether they voted red or blue.
So I didn't pay too much attention to that because my life was consumed with like getting Trump into office, and then there was a little bit of Georgia things going on in the middle of it, and then there were some weird things going on about a little bit of fraud with her. So then it was just too much for my brain, to be honest. I'm like, there's so much fraud everywhere. I don't know where to put my thoughts. So, but prior to this year, all I heard was positive about her. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say there's something good going on, but I don't know much about her.
Okay. So there's good in everybody. There's good and bad. Everybody's got it. Yes, Uncle D, I hear you.
I'm finished. I'm glad to be a part of this evening.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, man. Here we go. Look. We are glad you joined us, though. Man.
Yes. Thank you.
Don't give them a flex before we go. Look. In case y'all didn't know. Just in case you didn't know.
That's a House of Steel Gym, baby.
Yeah.
300 Commerce Street, Commerce, Oklahoma.
And she can get you
It's
fit.
never too late to get started, is it?
No, it's never too late.
Oh, man, look.
You sit down somewhere.
We gotta get you in there. We'll get you the New Balances. Walk
She got all the programs, the 20 days, 15 days, however many days you got to give, she can hook you up.
That's right. I got you.
And she get up at the butt crack of dawn. Her and these two.
She beats me. No,
I don't even understand.
She beats me.
Get up 2 hours earlier. You will add so many more days into your year. You'll have like a 465-day year if you get up 2 hours earlier.
You be sleeping until
See, that's somebody who's, I don't even know.
Motivated.
No.
That's why her muscles look like that.
I told her that. Yeah, I don't even know.
No, what did you say?
I told her, I said, because she's like, you're missing the best time of your life, best part of the morning or something. Yeah. I said, if I wake up the only reason I wake up that early is I need to pray for somebody, and then I need to go back to sleep. That's it. So I'm gonna put if I wake up at 3, somebody's gonna be being prayed for.
That's right.
And then I'm going back to sleep.
Someone's on my mind.
Yes, and I need y'all to get off my mind so I can go back to sleep.
Look,
anyway,
this has been a odd day for the Colbert Connection because of the rolling blackouts and the crazy weather. But thank you again, Kristenee, for coming out.
I'm so excited.
Pops, thank you for
Yeah.
forging your way.
It was fun. Yeah.
It
was fun.
We should be back on next Tuesday.
Who knows?
Who's coming?
Oh, yes. We will be on next Tuesday. Okay. Asia Epperson will be here from Joplin, American Idol, from Greenleaf.
Yes.
Asia Epperson, y'all.
Same one that was chauffeured.
Let me get on your level, Asia. And Amanda Felix.
Yes. She's going to, yes.
I got stuck in between 2 amazing girls, Amanda Felix and
last
Asia
week,
Epperson.
Amanda Felix. This next coming week is going to be Asia Epperson. So you guys want to tune in for that because we may even get her to belt out a little tune for us, but we're going to talk about.
You don't want me to sing?
Absolutely not. I've heard you say.
This is your announcer, D.R. Colbert.
He's like, did we miss something? What did we miss?
Nope, we didn't. Shut her down. No, but anyway, they're going to wrap it up.
Thank y'all people for joining us. We will see you next week. Bye.
See you. All right.
This is your announcer, D.R. Colbert, still working for a bottle of crushed grapes and that meal, saying thanks for listening to the Colbert Connection with Melody and Donika. If you like our show and want to know more, check us out next week, same time and place, when we talk about everything, including you, if you do not tune in to next week's show. Catch the Colbert Connection Tuesday at 1800 hours or 6 p.m. See you sooner than later. Good day.